Are you looking to build a website for yourself, your business, or for your clients? You're in the right video. Because in this video, I'm going to show you how to build a WordPress website from scratch. And this is a completely beginner-friendly tutorial. So you don't have any experience in WordPress, that's fine. You have never built a website, that's completely all right. All you have to do is follow along and just do the steps I'm going to show you on the screen, and you'll have a fully functional, beautiful looking website ready in no time. Are you excited? I am, so let's get started. So to build a WordPress website, you need two things. You need a domain name and a hosting. Domain name is the name where people will type in to actually reach the website. And the hosting is what makes the website alive on the internet. Now think of it as a phone number and a cell service. Your phone number is what people use to connect with you, and vice versa. You connect with other people using your phone number or their phone number, but the cell service behind the phone number is what is hosting. So you need both of them to work together to make the website actually alive on the internet. Now, technically, you need to buy a domain name and hosting separately and make them work together. But I'm going to show you an easy way where you can purchase hosting for a ridiculously low price and also get a domain name for absolutely free. And don't worry if you already have purchased a domain name, you can always connect that domain name to your account that I'm going to show you. And if your client has a domain name, you can connect that as well. So let's switch to my screen here, and I'm going to show you how to purchase hosting and get a domain name for absolutely free. Go to your browser and start typing this one I'm going to show you on the screen. So pay attention to the screen. I'm going to type in https:// type in wpbeginner.com/refer/Bluehost. This is a referral link to Bluehost, which will take you to this page, which you'll see on the screen once it loads. And this will bring you to Bluehost's page. Now, Bluehost is one of the most well-recognized hosting providers on the planet. They host millions of websites, probably even more. So what you need to do is just look at these details. Just at $199 a month, you can get a free domain for the first year, free SSL certificate, expert support 24/7. You have reliable hosting, of course, and you have one-click WordPress install. So the WordPress setup process, which is usually quite complicated, is quite easy here. Of course, I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you click the Get Started Now button, this will take you to the pricing options. They have a few different pricing. The one I just mentioned is this one. This is great for one website. But if you're working with clients, you build multiple websites, you might consider the Choice Plus or the Cloud options, which are also very, very affordable for the features and whatever you get. So what you can do is, right now, what I'm going to do is click the Select option here, and this will give me a pop-up. I'll skip the pop-up for the WordPress store creation. I'm going to skip for now. And this will take us to the domain page. Now, what you can do is you can create a new domain name here. If you have a domain name you want to purchase, then you can find the domain name here and click the next, and this will next button, and this will add the domain name to your account. And if you already have a domain name, just enter it here, and this will be linked to your account. And you just need to make a couple of changes in your domain registrar so that make sure that your domain name is actually connected to the Bluehost hosting account. Now, I'm not going to make the purchase right now, but what you can do is just go here. If you want a .com, you have .com, .online, .site, all these different domain names. Just find the available domain name that you can get here. Click the next button and it'll be added to your account. I'll just click this button. I'll create my domain later because I'm not actually making the purchase. I'm just demonstrating how this is going to work. This will bring you to the last page, which is the pricing page, or not the pricing page, the checkout page, where you have to enter your details and finally complete the purchase. So enter your first name, last name, if you have a business name, country, street address, all the basic stuff, and then come down here to make sure the pricing is something that you're happy with, because Bluehost option or offers some extra optional things that you can use or you can disable if you don't want it. For example, you see the code guard basic. I'll just uncheck that and it'll take a couple seconds to refresh. The site log essentials is also something that I don't need. Professional email is also something I don't need right now. So once that is done, once I've removed the optionals, the pricing is coming down to $23.88, which is the exact same pricing we saw, $199 a month. You have to pay for the entire year. And then there's the payment options here. Now, once you add your card details, fill in the details, just click submit. You might get some confirmations depending on the country you are in. For example, we get a one-time password on our phones to make sure the purchase is authorized. And once that is done, you'll have the hosting and you also have the domain name for an entire year for free. And you'll get some updates from Bluehost. You'll have account created email and maybe some credentials. Essentially, what you'll get is access to the Bluehost backend. So once this is done, go back to your email account or email address and find the email from Bluehost, which gives you access to the backend, because that is where we'll continue the setup process and actually start creating a website. So I'll pause the video for a second. You go back to your email now, come back here with the Bluehost backend in progress. And I'm going to show you how to build a website with Bluehost. So welcome back to the video. Hopefully you have access to the Bluehost backend now. So this is how it looks like. This is the home page of the BlueHost backend. What you have to do is go into the websites section. So if you go into the website section, you'll see I have a lot of websites created because I just use BlueHost all the time, but you will not see any websites created here. Once the page is loaded, you'll see all the different websites that have been created. Now you don't need to worry about all this because you probably won't see it. All you have to do is click the add site button. So if you click this button, it'll start the creation process of the website. Stick with the default option, install WordPress. Let's click continue. And then we'll give a site a title. You don't have to worry about what the title is because you can obviously change this later, but this is easy to give a reference point so that you can remember what you named the site. So I'm going to just name it Yuvraj's site. This is easy. I can change it later as well. So I'll click continue. And then this is where you connect your domain name. So if you have added the domain name to your account, you got it for free. All you have to do is search for the domain name here and you'll find it. And then BlueHost will automatically add the domain name to your account. Now, if you had a domain name already or your client had domain name already, you might need to change some settings on the domain that they purchase so that your website actually connects. In that case, you can use a temporary domain and then finish the process later. I hope you have the skills. Otherwise, we have some tutorials on our channel, which will show you how to actually make those changes. But if you have made the purchase through BlueHost, make sure that do this process right here. Otherwise, it'll be a little complicated. This will make it easy. So since I am not purchasing or I didn't purchase a domain name, I'll use the temporary domain option here and click continue. And then WordPress is now being installed. That's it, right? The WordPress installation process, that's all you have to do. Now, this process may take a couple of minutes to finish. So once this is done, we'll come back and I'll show you how to access the site and do some essential things on the site to prepare it to actually modify and make it ready for your client or for yourself. All right, so let this finish and we'll resume the video. All right, so the process of installation of WordPress is complete on the site and you can see it here. What I did was went back to the website sections, and since I had a lot of websites, I just made a search. You'll see just the one website here. Now, all you have to do is click this name section here, and this will take you to the settings of the website. Now, you don't need to master this. You don't need to worry about all of this. This is good to know how it works and what specific options are present. Now, what we need to do is first, our website is already created. So we can access the website and we can make some changes. But the first thing we'll need to do is to create a user ID and password for yourself. Now, do keep in mind that the default username password actually is created by WordPress, or not by WordPress, but by BlueHost. If you go to users, you'll find that a new username and password or for the administrator has been created, but this does not use your own email. So we'll create a username and password just for you, using which you can log in from your website. But before that, we need to make one important change. We'll go to the settings option here. And once this loads, we'll scroll down a little bit here and we'll just disable the coming soon page so that the website can be actually accessed. And don't make the mistake of using this option to edit your WordPress website, because what this will do is take you to the AI builder that BlueHost has featured. Now, for the design aspect, we're going to take a completely different route. So this will just take excess time, which will be completely reversed later, because whatever customization options you see here, we're going to just do it the complete opposite way. So go to the users option here right now. And once you see this here, all you have to do is click the login button, and this will take you to the website and log into the backend of the website. This is the backend of the WordPress as a setup, the WordPress website that you see. And once you see this, I'll show you the process. And of course, everything that you see might be overwhelming, might look complex, but don't worry, I'm going to show you everything how you need to set it up. So the first thing we'll need to do is inside the users option that you see here, there's an option called add new user. So we'll click on the add new user option. And this will take us to the option of where we can create a new account on the site. So add a new username. So I'll just add my name here. We can add an email here as well. So I'll just add my personal email here. Let me just type it in. You can add some other options like your first name, last name, which is not required. It's optional, but that's completely up to you. Now, importantly, two things to remember. WordPress will give you an auto-generated password, which is very secure, that you can utilize. You can click generate password and you will have variations, but you can also enter your own password here. Now, it suggests that if you're creating your own password, make sure it's secure, because that's like the main key to your house. If somebody has your username and password, they can technically log into your site. So I suggest that if you're starting out, just select this password here. So what I'm going to do is just copy this on my clipboard, paste it on a notepad on the side of the screen so that you don't see it, and we'll proceed with the video like that. So once this is done, the second important thing you need to remember is to go to the role section. Make sure that the role is set to administrator, because using this account, you want to make all the changes on your site. So once you make this role as an administrator, you will get all those privileges that you want on your website to make essential changes. So once this is done, make sure to just double check you have a username, you have an email, you have a first name, you have the password, and you also have made sure that you've set the role to administrator. Once this is done, we'll click the add new user button, and this will just confirm the changes and add this new user on our site. So now you can see the username is now added here. This was the default one that was created. This is a new one that is created. Now the website is created. We already have created a user, but how does the website actually look like? So let's go and check out the website. So what you can do is just open a new tab and automatically just enter the domain name that you have purchased, and you can open the website like that as well. But from the backend, there's an easier way to go to your website. Just go to the top left corner on the screen, somewhere here, and once you hover your mouse over here, you'll see the visit site option. If you right click on open a new tab, you can just click on it as well, and this will take you to the website. And this is your beautiful new WordPress website. Congratulations, you have technically built your website already. Yeah, so it looks great already, but of course we're going to take a complete step on how to customize the website. I'm going to show you everything you need to know on how to actually make changes to your site. But before that, let's talk about how to log into your site and how to log out of your site. So to log in and log out of your site, you just need one single thing. You need a domain name, and there's some additional, I'd say a couple of words you need to add to your domain name to actually log into your site. So let me first demonstrate how do you log out from your site, and then I'll show you how to log into your site as well. By the way, if you don't want to do all the hassle, you can always go to the BlueHost area, go to the user section and click login. And if I refresh this page, you'll see the new username also being shown up here. But I find it a little cumbersome to always log into BlueHost and then go through the route of login into my website. So I just prefer this other way, and most users use this as a standard method to log in and log out. So I'm going to show you that. So what you need to do is go to the top right of the screen. On the top right, you'll find your username currently logged in. So if you hover over it, you'll see three options: the profile, edit profile, and logout. So I'm going to click logout, which will log us out of the website. And by default, it also takes you to the login page, which looks like this. So now that you're logged out, if you go back here, this will also be actually logged out. If you click anywhere, you'll see that you're logged out. So how do you actually log into the site? It's actually very simple. Just open up a new tab and first type the entire website's domain name here, whatever your domain name is. So I'm going to just copy and paste it here. This is the domain. This is a temporary domain name. You will have your own domain name, which you connected with BlueHost, show up here. Now, all you have to do is add just one word after this, right? So type in WP, which stands for WordPress hyphen ADMIN, which stands for admin. So all you have to do is make sure that your website name is there, and make sure that it's ended by, or it's the last character on the website URL is the /. Then you type in WP hyphen admin. Once that's done, just press enter, and this will take you to the login area of your website. So if you want to log into your website, this is how you do it. And of course, how do you log in? Using your credentials, of course. So I'll copy the password that I have, I'll paste it here, and I'm going to add my username here, and we're going to log in using the new username and password we just created. So let that load in, and I'm going to show you what next to do. Beautiful. So now that you have logged into your site, you can also see on the top right corner that the new profile picture or new name, new user is now showing up. So technically, whatever we've accomplished right now is we've created a website. Obviously, we purchased hosting and domain name. We created a new user. And of course, our website is live to the world. Once again, you can go to this section, click visit site, and you can go back and see how your website looks like. And don't worry about this black bar that you see. It's only shown for administrators. That means someone who can log into your site. That means you. Your visitors or your users will actually not see this. So don't worry about this. All right. So once we're here, now we need to clean up the site so that we can set it up for things we need to do on the site. So the first thing I'll do is go to the plugins section here. And what BlueHost does is install some required and essential plugins on the site. But not every website needs those plugins. So I'm going to clean this up, and later in the video, once we've done changes to the site, once we've made some essential upgrades, I'm going to show you how to install plugins and what plugins to install so that you can actually manage your website. So what we'll do is we'll just disable and close all of this. Now there are so many plugins you can see here, except for the BlueHost plugin, we don't need any plugin. And the BlueHost plugin is also not essential, but it helps you connect your website through the backend and make changes. So I would say, let's keep that here. So what I'm going to do is go here, select all the plugins by clicking here, and just go to the BlueHost plugin and disable this. So it's not actually selected. Once I'll go here and I'll just first deactivate all the plugins. I'll click deactivate. I'm going to click apply. And this will deactivate all the plugins that are installed. Let's wait for it to finish. So now all the plugins have been deactivated except for the BlueHost plugin. Once again, I'll click this. I'll uncheck the BlueHost plugin because we don't want to delete that. Go to bulk actions, click delete, and we're going to click apply. Confirm, okay. And this will delete all the plugins of our site. We have a completely beautiful website. And don't worry, this does not affect the appearance of your site. Whatever it is, it will still look like that. So now that you have cleaned up website, the website is ready, it's time to now customize the website, how it looks like. And the easiest way to do that is by adding themes. Now, theme is something you can think of as a new chassis, a new paint job for your site, and completely gives you the opportunity, or it gives you the opportunity to completely customize how your website looks like. And one of the ways, or the way I'm going to show you, is the easiest way, because you don't have to have any technical skills or design skills. It's just a click, click, click method, and you'll have a beautiful looking new website in no time. All right, so let's get started with installing a theme. And to install a theme, all you have to do is go to the appearance section here. Inside the appearance, we'll go to the themes section. And the themes that we're going to see here are all from the WordPress repository. So you're not paying any money to install these themes. Once you see this page, these are the themes that are already installed on your site. And you can only have one theme active at a time, but you can have multiple themes installed. So if I hover over this, you'll see the customize option. But if I hover over these, you see the activate options, because these themes are installed, but only this theme is active right now. And this is default WordPress theme, so don't worry about it. We'll click the add new theme button. And this will bring you to the repository where you'll see so many different themes available on the website. Now, this can be confusing and overwhelming to make this choice what theme to install. So we'll just go ahead and install one of the most popular themes for WordPress. It's called Astra. So go to the search option and type in ASTRA and let the search finish. And this is the Astra theme I'm talking about. And don't worry, how it looks like is not something that you are stuck with. You can customize this. So don't be fooled by that. Hey, I'm building a car website, so I want this theme. I want this theme. This look which you see here can be completely customized. So we'll click the install button and let's wait for it to finish. And it's installed already. Let's click the activate button. And the Astra theme is now installed on the site. If you go back to the site here on the front end of the website, and if you click refresh, then you'll see this is the new website. And don't worry, we're going to customize everything. If you're not happy with this look, that's completely fine. All right. So one of the benefits of using the Astra theme is this ready-made templates. Astra has a wonderful companion plugin called Starter Templates, using which you can just drag and drop or click and completely have a new website created with complete visual, complete everything in no time. And that's what we're going to use to build a beautiful looking website in no time. All right. So what you have to do is just go to the plugin section and go to add new plugin. You can also click this button, which will take you to the same page, but sometimes this banner does not appear. So I'm going to show you the manual method. Go to plugins, go to add new plugin, click here. And inside the add new plugins option, I'm going to close this out. We're going to search for starter templates. So we'll type starter templates. Let the search finish. And this is the starter templates plugin, which I'm talking about. Make sure to check the logo. Make sure to check the author here, Brainstorm Force. Have great installation, great ratings, and frequent updates. Let's click the install now button. Let's also activate the starter templates plugin. Now, as soon as the plugin is installed, you'll automatically reach this page, which is the website building process. Let's start with the classic starter templates. It's the easiest. In the page builder, I suggest you stick with the block editor. Now, this is the beauty of starter templates. You see, if you scroll here, you'll find hundreds of templates to choose from, using which you can build your website. And all of them can be installed on your website in just a couple of clicks. Now, there are some premium ones. You can scroll down and find the free ones as well, but that's completely up to you. If you want to go to premium version, you will have to upgrade to a premium plan from Astra. Otherwise, you can stick with the free version. If I scroll down, I'll see, let me find a great looking template that I can use. Just for an example, I'm scrolling, and these are some great templates. This template is nice. This template is nice. This business template is also nice. This is nice. I like many of these templates. They're easy to use and you can install them on site. So for a childcare expert, look in this website. This is great. Jacob Smith, this for a vlogger, this is good looking. For a car repair business, this is nice. You have this fashion lifestyle blog as well. You have the UX designer as well. Let's scroll up and see, okay, this voiceover artist looks good. This looks good. Let's choose this template here. So just to give you an idea, I'm choosing this voiceover artist template. Doesn't mean you have to stick with a voiceover artist template. You can use this to customize and make a website for a business as well, for a blogger as well, for an individual as well. Completely up to you. I'm just using this template as a reference. You can use any of the templates and customize them. And I'm going to show you how to make those customizations as well. So let's click on this template. And this template will open up and give you a preview of how your website will look like once it's imported to your website on the hosting provider right now. So you see, this is a beautiful template. It has the menu created here. It has the heading here, beautiful image here, and good looking visuals here. Everything is done well. Now, the starter templates option gives you an option to upload your logo automatically in the first step, so you can preview it. But we'll click the skip button for now because I'll show you how to upload your logo later in the process. Let's click the skip and continue button. And this is the second option where you can change the default colors on your website. So you see, this is the default color palette. But if you can click this, you'll see many elements on the page will automatically change to reflect the new color themes. So the buttons are changed, some other links are changed. So you can test out whatever theme or color theme you like. I'll stick with the default ones because I think that is a great fit here. And you can do the same thing for the typography. You can see the default typography is Robot on Open Sans, but you can click this Playfair and instantly you see these changes being reflected here on the site. And of course, whatever you want to choose, that's completely up to you. And you don't have to stick with these options. I'm going to show you how to change the typography options later in the video as well, so that you can completely customize everything about the website. I'm going to stick with this one, Poppins and Lato. I think I like this one. And don't worry about this overflow. We're going to fix it later. Let's click the continue button and this will take it to the next step. You can fill in the optional details and share non-sensitive data about your website. That's completely all right. You can also uncheck this and the process will still work. Make sure none of these are unchecked because you have to import the customized settings, widgets, and content so that the website will look exactly how you saw in the preview. Once you're happy with the settings, just click the submit and build my website. And this will start the building process. Now, it takes less than a minute sometimes, but maybe sometimes a minute and a half. So let this process finish. And once it's done, I'm going to show you how your website looks like and we'll resume the rest of the video. So as you saw, the website process or the website building process is complete and it just took 21 seconds to build. So this is how fast starter templates is, and this is why we recommend it that you use it. So let's click the view your website button and this will open up your new website in a new tab. And voila, this is your brand new WordPress website that you just created in a few minutes. It looks beautiful, exactly like how you saw in the template. And this is one of the benefits of using starter templates. You just can build a beautiful looking new website in just a few clicks. And you see, you can just navigate around the site. It has all the details. It has all the good stuff that you would expect from any website. Now, this is the front end of the website. This is what users see, just clearing some terminology with you here. And this is the back end of the site, right? This is the back end of the site, which we've been using, right? This is also called the admin area, the back end, but this is something that you can access. And this is the front end of the site or something that the visitors see. Now, we've built the website, we've completed everything. Now it's time to customize the website. But before that, we need to make a few changes on the site, add some things so that the customization process can actually be done in the perfect way. So you can see a visual representation of whatever changes we're going to make. So what I'm going to do is go back to the admin area. And if you are overwhelmed already, just take a couple of seconds, take a deep breath, enjoy your website, move around, pause the video for a second if you need to, and then we'll start the process of actually customizing and making changes to the site and just making those changes and then heading into the customization areas where we make cosmetic changes to a site. So if you want to take a breather, a water break, coffee break, that's completely all right. We'll resume the video after the short break. So hopefully you've had a break and you've understood and spent some time on the website understanding how the backend and front end look. We'll make some changes to our website first and then we'll start the customization process. And of course, I'm going to go through everything step by step so you don't have to worry about missing some steps or things becoming overwhelming for you. So let's switch to my screen here and you'll notice that the homepage of the website, this is of course, we just did it. So the homepage of the website is already done, but we need to create a new page, a complete blank page on the site so we can customize and make some changes to the site and you'll understand what I'm going to do. So what we'll do is go to the pages section here, inside here, and we click add a new page. So we'll add this page and all you have to do is just name the page for now and just save it. And we are not going to add any content here. That is reserved for the end of the video where I'll show you how to customize and add some content. So on this page, all you have to do is just go here and type in blog, and just click the publish button and click publish once again. Once this is done, page is published, don't worry, nothing is on it. Just go back by clicking this WordPress icon here. I'll take you back to WordPress. Now go to the settings here, and inside the settings, go to the reading section. Okay. In the reading section, the default section or settings, what you will see is your home page settings. This is the settings. Now, what does this configure? So we see that this is already set to a static page and the home page is set to the home page. So this page is the home page, but we also need to create a page for the blog page where all the blog posts will go. That is what we created here. And what we'll do is we'll select the post page as the blog page we just created. So once this is done, we'll click Save Changes. And now that page is just added to the site. We don't have to worry about it. But there's one thing missing. What we'll need to do to configure this, and of course also understand the process of customizing, is we'll add the blog post page or the blog page here on the menu, because this will help us navigate to the blog post and it'll be very useful when you actually customize the page or customize our website. So what I'm going to do is go back to appearance here. Inside the appearance, we add the themes first, which we went to, but there's also the menus option here. So if you go to the menus option here, this is the menu of your site. Now, if you see this, and if you see this menu, it's exactly the same thing, right? Now, this is where the menu is actually created. And I'll go through a little more detail when we go to the customization aspect. But for now, what I'm going to do is just add the blog post or blog page that we just created here. So if we go to the pages section, if you go to view all, we see the blog page here, which is the posts page. We'll click here, add to menu. And we can drag and drop it around as well. So let's say, for example, I want to keep it here. Then we can just do this and we can just save our menu. And once this is saved, you'll see this option here, header has been updated. Now, if you go back to the site, click refresh, you will see this blog section is now here. Now, if you go to this page, this is a completely empty page right now, or at least it has the default post that is created on a site. Now, the idea behind this is that once we actually customize the site, we'll be customizing this page. And we'll also look at the individual blog posts like this and how we can customize this page. Now, without any posts being on the site, without anything being present on the site, it's going to be very hard for you to see what your changes you're making. So that's why I went through the trouble first of creating this, so that when you actually go and customize, you can actually go into the blog section and see how different blog posts are looking like and what settings you change and how it actually affects your website. All right. So once this is done, now we'll create some content on the site, because if you just have the one post here, which is the default post, it's not enough information for you to make judgments on how you should customize your website, especially the blog page here and the individual blog post page. So what I'm going to do is just give you a simple idea of how to create a blog post on the site. And of course, we're going to go through in a little more detail once we've done basic cosmetic changes on the site. But I want to add a few blog posts here, and so that we can actually see this and have or navigate through the different options we have to customize this area and other areas of the site. So once again, I'll go here inside the admin area. I'll go to the post section. I'll click add new post. And this will open up the blog editor inside WordPress. It's similar to how I showed you the pages option. It's very simple. Now, the idea behind this is absolutely simple. On the left, what you see here, the blank area is where all the content goes. And here are all the properties about the content. So you see right now you have the properties about the post, and then you also have the properties about the blocks. So you can add different blocks here in the block editor, and whatever block you choose, you'll see the options or settings here. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video, add some content here quickly. And then once I've added the content, I'll save it. I'll show you how it's done. And I'll just repeat the process a few times. I want to add a 5, 6, 7 blog posts here so that we have enough information or enough data on the site to make a judgment call. So pause the video for a second, add some content, and we'll resume the video. So I finished the blog post here, and you can see this is the title of the blog post. There's some headings that I've created, a simple blog post about a voiceover artist, because that's what the website we are creating is about. You can add your content right here. Let's also try and see a preview of the site. You can go to this button here, which is the preview button. If you click on this, you'll see preview in a new tab, and this will open up the preview of that specific blog post in a new tab. This is a featured image that I've added here, and you can see this looks beautiful. If you go back here, the featured image is actually added here. If you go here in the post options, there's a featured image here. So this is how you basically create content on the site. So what I'm going to do is, again, pause the video for a second, and I'm going to add 6, 7, 8 blog posts on the site, because that will help us understand and visualize how we're going to make changes to the site. And the process is going to be exactly the same. I'm going to add some content, maybe a couple of images, and once I'm done, we'll resume the video, and I'll show you actually how to customize your website. All right, so I've created a few different blog posts here. You see it's around 8 blog posts that I've published on the site. And if you go into the front end of the site and go to the blog section, Now it looks like a beautiful block section that you would expect on a fully functional website. And that was the intent here. If you don't see this, it's hard to actually understand what changes we want to make and how they're going to affect the website. So now that this is done, we can actually go back to the customizer and start customizing our website. Now, what is the customizer? It is a built-in WordPress feature which allows you to customize whatever happens on your entire website. So if you're making changes to the customizer, just assume that anything you do is affected throughout your website. So if you change some colors, entire website. If you change something else, entire website. Well, that's completely fine because WordPress gives you the ability to override certain things. Just for example, let's say you want to have a different colors for the headings. So you change the color of the headings here, but you want this heading to remain in the black color. So you can still go back onto this particular page and make this change that this heading stays in black color while the rest of the headings stay whatever color you decide. So that's how you get the best of both worlds. You're able to customize some things on the entire website using in one location so that it's easy for you, but then you can go and override certain areas, certain places, certain things so that you actually have the benefit of customizing everything. So there are two ways to go inside the customizer. The first one is through the back end of the site. You go into the appearance section and you go to the customize option here. This is the first way. The second and the faster way is if you're already logged in, you go to the front end and you see this customize option here. Both will take you to the same location. So I'll click the customize option here, and this will bring us to this website or this page. This is the customizer. Let it load for a second. What you see here, you see this is the customizer. This is where you can customize every single thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go through the chronological order so it's easy to understand what happens every single or inside every single menu. Now, to understand what I'm going to do is more important than actually seeing what technically I'm doing, because you might choose a different template, you might have different choices on your website. So just understand what settings are, where they are, how do you change them. One other thing you should remember is that, let's say for example, if you were not following along the tutorial exactly and you chose a different theme, some options inside the customizer are theme dependent. So your theme might support all the features, but it might look different. Some things might be in different locations. So again, as I said, what I'm doing or the concept behind, the principle behind what I'm doing is more important to understand rather than exactly seeing this. Because let's say you're watching this tutorial 6 months after it was published and some changes to the UI have happened in the meantime, and now the interface looks a little different. So the process will still remain the same. So let's start with the global options first. What global options have? Typography, colors, container, buttons, scroll to top, accessibility, block edit, and miscellaneous. Of course, we'll start with the typography, and don't worry, it's not too complicated. As we already saw when we were importing the starter template, the typography options allow you to change the typography of the site. The same, I think the same heading formats or typography pairs have been shared here, but you can change the typography of individual elements directly. So for example, if you want to change the base font here, just click here and you'll see all the fonts available to you right now, and you can go and change font family from Lato to something else. For example, if I change to Latif, you'll see some areas which the body font will change to Latif. And if you don't see a change here, that means the specific area has been overridden, so you can go and change it there. So if I change it to Latif, you see this change here. I don't like this. I'll just go back to Lato, and here you can again change the font size here. You can make all those changes. You can change the text decoration for certain styles and all this. That is all in the customization option. You can also change the typography for the headings here. And if you want to change the typography for individual headings separately, so H1, H2, H3 completely here, you can go and change them here. For example, if I go here, once again inside the headings, you'll see the Poppins font is selected. Let's try and select the font here. Poor story. Now you see this typography has changed, applied to the headings instantly. So if I go back here and say Poppins, it'll instantly change back to Poppins, and font weight was set to 700. So I'll just go back to 700, and now you see this beautiful font here. So this is how it's easy to customize typography on the entire site level using these options. Going back from typography to colors, this is where you customize the colors. Now, how the colors work inside the customizer and specifically in the Astra theme are a little different. What you see here are 3 predefined color palettes, or 3 locations where you can add color palettes. So this is the first palette, the second palette, and the third palette. Now, technically they might look the same, but here's the interesting bit. If you click here and click here, now you have some color presets to choose from. So if I click this here, now this is a color preset saved here, and I can go to the third one. I can click this here and go here. And now I have 3 unique color presets that I can choose from. So if I go back to the blue one, this area which you see here represents all the colors in this palette. And if you see the theme color options here, you'll see a globe icon inside them. The globe icon represents that these colors which have the globe icon are just simply referencing these values, which are called global colors. And why this is important is because if you say, let's say you customize the colors here, all these colors everywhere on the site will automatically be changed. So just give you a central location to change all the colors on your site. So you see accent colors, if I highlight the screen, so this is the accent, and if I have links, they have specific colors for hover, we have the colors for headings and body text. You can change everything here. So let's say if I go here and click here, and I'll just override this for a second, and I'll change this here and let it load, and now you see the accent color is different. This also technically looks good. You can do this, or what you can also do is change the color here directly and then reference the global image or global color. You can always reset the color if you want to. If I click this will go back to the default palette settings. So this is a great way to preserve your settings. You're not messing anything up. Now for the headings, let's say if I want to have colored headings, let's say I'll choose the dark blue color and go here, something here, not exactly black. So now you see this is a beautiful color here. Now what I can also do is, you see there are 3 different white colors approximately. This is technically a little gray, but this is white, and this is also kind of white, right? It's not very, it's not a different color. So if I take this color and if I change this to dark blue like this, I'll just go back to the blue color here, and I'll just go to the dark blue color like this. If I just go here like this, deep dark color, something like this. Now I can go to the heading section and just reference this color here. And now this color has changed here, and it's also referencing a global palette. The benefit of the global palette is that if I change the palette here directly, this heading color will automatically inherit the color in this palette. So it gives you a simple way to actually manage your colors. And again, this is completely up to you. I'm just showing you some changes here, but the potential of customizing your website entirely is up to you. If you have a pre-built design layout, inspiration, some swipes that you have, or client has shared with you, or you have some ideas, you can go completely onto it and change everything you like. But this is the basic idea of how you make some changes. You can also change border colors and site background colors and content background colors. So this site doesn't have too many areas where the background is added, so I won't be able to show you, but maybe when I go to the blog post section, I'll show you how the content background and site background can be changed. All right, so this is how you change the colors. It's easy. The palettes, the global colors all make it easy to change the colors on your site. Let's go back and go to the container section. Now the container allows you to customize how your website is contained. So this is the container default container layout, the normal layout. You can also change to this, which is the narrow layout. Now, if you change the layout here, your website might look weird, or sometimes it won't make any change here, but it will definitely make a change to the blog post on the site, because this is, again, as I said, you can override certain things. Sometimes you'll make changes here. It won't give you any like say difference here, but it does affect some other areas which we are not usually or not maybe paying attention to. So if you don't want to make this such site like a narrow thing, and if I just go and try to show it to you, let's go to the blog section here. I'll switch back to the normals for a second while it loads. If I go here, let's open up this blog post in particular. So this is the particular blog post, right? So this is the container layout for normal. And if I change this to narrow, you'll observe that it'll shrink down. And this is how it's going to look like. So even the homepage, even if the homepage is not being affected by this change, this is what is being affected. So if you don't like this, if you don't want a website to have a kind of a narrow outlook, then just go to the container layout. And now you probably would understand why I added the blog post in the first place, because it makes it so easy to actually understand what changes you are making to the site. So let's go back to the home here, home page. And you also have an ultra wide full width layout. And that's, again, we will test it out, and I'll show you how the different layouts look when we customize the blog post on other pages. But this is just an idea that you can do. Container style is something you don't need to worry about if you're not changing this. Then you have the container width, how wide should it be, and what should be the width of the narrow container. So here you actually fine tune the width of the containers. This is something you want to do if you are strictly designing for mobile devices. Once again, this website we are creating is already mobile responsive, and it works great on mobile phones. So you don't have to worry about all of that. Okay, so going back to buttons here. Inside the buttons, once again, we have button presets. Now you might think, where is the button? This button looks different. There's a different color, and this is where the area about buttons actually come in. Some buttons might look different because they've been optimized well, or I say not optimized well, but been overridden on this particular page. So we'll have to go into the specific page and change this. But again, similar to how I showed you different areas of or I said different colors were being customized for the headings, you can actually customize the options for buttons. So you have primary buttons and secondary buttons, and you have some preset styles. This is the preset styles. Let me try and change this to see if actually it affects some buttons. So right now the size changed, but the colors did not change. So I'm pretty sure there's something be overridden here. So I'll switch back to the regular button size. And for the text color, once again, you have two options instead of just the one. So you have the regular color and you have the hover color. So once you hover over the buttons, you'll see something different happens. So this is where these things actually change. So if you observe, if you make any changes, or if you want to customize any of these buttons, this is where you do it. And again, if you add buttons, or when we add some buttons to our blog post, that is where you'll be able to see these changes in action. Once again, you have colors here, you have the typography, you have the padding, border width, and border radius. So padding is how thick you want the button to be apart from the text area. So if you want to have the text in the middle and a very wide button, you can change the padding. Border width is how thick you want the border to be, and border radius is how rounded do you want the button to be. So you can click one of the presets or customize everything yourself here. That's how you customize the buttons. Going back to scroll to top, if you want this, you can actually just enable this, and just have a scroll to top button will be appearing here. And if you scroll down and click, it'll take you to the top of the blog post immediately. And you can have this displayed on desktop, mobile phones, or both. And position can be left or right, size can be changed. And the design options, you will have the option of customizing some colors and border radius. So let's say, for example, you want this to be around, have rounded edges from all sides. So I'll just click this button here, which will just connect all the sizes here. And now we have a rounded kind of thing. Now, if you want to make it completely round, just make it on 30 and it will be a round block or round button here. So this is how you change the scroll to top and add it to the page. Accessibility and block editor and miscellaneous are not really important for this customization part. We'll look at this maybe later part of the video, because most of the cosmetic changes we are doing was covered in these areas in the global department. Going back here, we've covered the global settings completely. Let's first go to the blog section, and we'll not go into the breadcrumb because it's not something really important, or not as important as the other areas here. And header builder has, I say it's a world of its own where we need to understand a lot of things. So first I'll go to the blog section here, and we'll customize, and I'll show you what settings here are. And then once we've done with everything, then I'm going to show you how to actually tackle or work with the header and footer builder. And it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So going to the blog page here, you have two options, or blog options here. You have blog archive and single post. Now this is where all the things that I did previously come into play. If I go to the blog page here, this is the blog archive page, right? This is the blog archive page because this is where you see all the blog posts. You can also call it as a category page. The technical term for WordPress is archive page. So inside the blog archive section is where you'll customize the appearance of this page and settings for these pages. So now, since you have these pages already and they're populated, now you'll be able to see the changes live. So if you go to the blog and archive page, this is where you change a lot of areas. So you have the blog title area. I'll talk about that later. Once again, you have the container layout. So what this container layout will again affect how your website is going to look like. So since we changed the container, or there was an option to change the container on the global level, this is the default setting. So if you, let's say, want to have the global container of the site very narrow, but on blog posts or blog archives, you want to change this, you can override this section. Since I didn't change it, I don't have to change this. But if I just want to change the, the layout of the blog archives page, I can just click narrow and the blog archive page will become narrow. So now you see the blog archive is narrow. This is completely up to you what kind of choices you want to make. Again, you also have the full width option, which will just completely make this full on like this. This particularly, this is very, very broad. I don't think it looks very good. So I'll go back to normal. And then in the container style, you have default, unboxed, and box. So this is how you can see that the image is also inside the box. So you can change these settings and see how the image will act and how the container will react. And then that's completely up to you. Then you have the sidebar options. Now sidebar, since we haven't touched the sidebar, even if I change this, I don't think the sidebar will appear right now because the sidebar has been disabled. Oh, it does show up. So if you want to have a sidebar on your site, you can add it here. Now do keep in mind that this sidebar will only be visible inside the blog archive page because we are adding it to the blog archive page. We're also going to change the single blog post. So if you want to add the sidebar there, you will have an option to do so. Most modern websites, I don't think they use sidebars a lot, but you might have a requirement or you might have a special need to use a sidebar. So you can make the sidebar on the right, on the left. You can have the default layout as well, or you can just keep it no sidebar for the blog archive page. Now do keep in mind, we are just customizing the blog archive page right now, not individual blog posts or how blog posts will look like. So this is the blog archive page right now. Once again, you have the sidebar options as box, unbox, and style. And then we have the blog layout. Now this is very, very exciting, and this is very useful to change or customize your look of your blog post instantly. Right now you see the individual blog posts are listed out as this layout, which is one blog post, one image, heading, and some other areas. But if I click this grid option, instantly you see that all the blog posts will be visible in a grid layout. And this is quite useful in my opinion, because you want to have flexibility when it comes to displaying content on your site. Once again, you can just do this, which is a list view, and the list view will start opening up. You also have the option to use a cover option or cover layout, and this will use the cover layout. So this is a benefit of creating all the content before, and now you can see how this is beautiful looking, and you can just use any of these, I say, options to just represent your site and how you want to set up your site. I particularly like the grid option, so I'll just go and switch to the grid option here and let it load, and then we'll proceed to the next few options here. So this is the grid layout. Now, whatever layout you choose, the options here in the post structure are very, very important to understand. So what is the options? What are these options? So if you notice here, this is a specific order of elements that you see, and this is again representing what elements of order you see here. So right now, if you see here, the top of the individual entry in the grid is the featured image, which is here. Then you have the title, then you have the post meta, then you have the excerpt, and then you have the read more section. And then the comments and categories and author are not actually, because they are after the separator, so they are not actually being shown on the screen. So what is this useful for? You can do a few things. You can reorder or rearrange these, or you can eliminate, disable them, or you can change their options. So just for example, if I don't want to show the images inside the grid, I just have to go here and click this eyeball, and instantly you'll see the images have now disappeared. Now, if I want to enable this, but I want to keep the title above the featured image, I can just drag and drop it here. And now the title comes first and the images come later. Now, of course, it doesn't work really well because the titles have different lengths. So that's why this is a better layout or better options to use. Now, let's say, for example, I don't want to have the excerpt show up, or instead of the excerpt, I don't want the post meta to show up here. So I can just drag it and put it here. Now here, I'll just put it just below the title, but I'll just click this button and the eyeball icon so that the actual options will disappear from the screen. Now, some of these options also have, you see, a drop down option here. So what is the drop down used for? So if I click the drop down option here, you can see I can change the image ratio and the hover effect. So if I click zoom in, you'll see that when I hover over the image, it'll have a zoom in effect. So this is how easy it is to add these simple things on the website. What is the image ratio? So you can say if you have all the images set up in a certain ratio, or you want them to be displayed in a predefined ratio, then you can select this option, and this will completely change how your grid will look like. So this won't work with all the images unless you have already defined a specific aspect ratio when you're uploading the images. So if I go for 1:1, you'll see the aspect ratio of some images will change. So make sure to use this option carefully. I would just keep it at the original because it's the easiest. Whatever image aspect ratio you upload, it'll be actually applied here, and doesn't I'd say skew the image in any way. It looks great here. Then the image size option is here. Again, you want to have the large option, full image, whatever custom size you want to have, you can keep it here. I like the large option. I think this looks good here. And for the title of the blog post, you can just click the title. You have the title here, you have the excerpt here, and the read more options. So this is how you can simply customize whatever is visible on the page, or reorder them, change some options, and completely customize how the content actually looks like on the site. It's quite easy, it's quite powerful, and it's very, very useful. So in just a couple of minutes, you were able to design this section, or say rearrange the section. But there's also the design options where we can make some changes to this area as well. So we'll go to the design option here, and here you can change the border radius first. So what's the border radius? Let me just show you. So I'll change this to, let's say, 15, and you see this area is being rounded. So if I just click here and then add it, so you'll see all these areas. Oops, I don't think I was able to click this. Now it's set. Okay, let's add 15, and now you see this has rounded edges across the site. So this is how easy it is to show or make these changes. Now, what do I think, or in my opinion, the title of the blog post is quite huge compared to the rest of the content. So this is how you change it. Just go here on the post title, just change it slightly like this. It's around 27 would be fine in my opinion. So 27. This looks good. Then you also have the meta font size, which is the meta text. I've disabled it. Otherwise, you can customize it here. And you also have the taxonomy font. So if you are displaying taxonomies and other areas, other things here, you can actually customize them here as well. Going back to the general options, we also have the blog title area. Let's also click on it and see other settings. So this is how the blog title area options can be customized. So you have the title, description, you have the design options here, and you can go back to the design areas and you can have inner spacing elements and change other things. Now, if I go back here and just disable this, you'll notice changes on the side. I think this is the easiest way to understand and follow along any tutorial. Just click and disable, change some things. And even if you don't like it, you can just completely, I said disable it, and or I say, there's nothing that can go completely wrong. You can just import the template again, or just don't save your changes and nothing will go wrong on the side. So blog archive section has been completely covered. Going back to the single post option. Now, single post option, let's go to the preview of a single blog post, and this is where you'll be able to see how we can make changes to the single blog post area. So this is a single blog post open. This is a blog post that I have written on the site, and this is where we can change any of these settings for the blog post here. So once again, you have the container layout options. Again, if you choose a container layout at the global level, you can choose it to be inherited here, or you can override this option. I would stick with the regular option here, but you can change it to normal, narrow, or full width for just the blog post and have a different settings in the global areas. Then you have the container options similar to this. You have the sidebar layout, again similar to this. So you can add this here and the sidebar will be visible on the blog post. Then again, you have the content width options as well. And then content images box shadow, if you add this here, then the box shadow will be added to the content areas as well. Then you have two different unique options here, which you can enable. Comments is enabled by default. Related posts is not enabled by default. So if I click this, just at the bottom of the blog post, the related posts area will show up right now. You can see this here. And what you can also do is customize them how they appear. So first what I'll do, I'll just go to the design options in the single blog post section first. So I can just demonstrate those options to you. And once again, we have the spacing options for the outside and inside for the post. So if you want to change some of the paddings and margins, you can customize them here. If I go to the general options, and once again, if you scroll down to the related post option, scrolling down here, we'll have some options to cosmetically change related posts. Right now, if I say related post, if I want to change the title to read this next, instantly I can change this and you'll see this option appear here. I can click to be center aligned. Total number of blog posts, let's say I want to have 4 as previewed. So the four options will show up, and I want to have them displayed in a 4 grid layout. So all of them will be visible like this. You can also, if you're a technical user, you can change the post query. So you can pick post from a particular category, particular tag, or only sorted by a particular date. That's completely up to you. This is completely so I say it's a power user thing. You can or you don't need to understand or customize this. Once again, going to the post structure here. So this is a post structure just for the related post. Do you want the featured image or the title and meta not showing up or show up? You can customize this here. So let's say if I want to disable the title and meta, the title and meta will go away immediately. Now, obviously this won't look good, so I'll enable this option here. And inside the meta as well. So right now you see the meta here, similar to how I showed it to you in the blog post section, the blog archive section. The meta can actually change the meta here. So if you want to have the comments, category, authors not visible, you can reorder or enable or disable them completely. So since I don't want the meta to have how many comments it has, so I can just disable this. And I don't want the category to be visible as well. I just want the author to show up. So now only the author will show up here. And if I click the drop down, and I can just change the label to written by. And if I want to enable the avatar of the author, I'll just click here, and the profile picture of the author will also show up, which is my photo here. So you can have this and change the size of it as well. So this is how easy it is to make these changes. So once again, if you enable a certain feature, if it has a drop down just next to it, and you can go inside and actually change the things here. So this is how it's absolutely very, very visual to customize anything on WordPress using and following this tutorial. Once again, you can go inside the drop downs options and see what kind of separators you have. So if let's say I want to have a separator like this, I can change the separator here, and inside the featured option as well, I can again change the aspect ratio of the images. So original, predefined, custom, similar to how I showed it to you in the blog archive section. And this is how easy it is to customize everything. Now, what do you want? What do you do if you want to have some kind of highlight areas around this section? you go into the design options, which is where you can change the section title colors, the backgrounds, and customize and override everything. So let's say, for example, the section title, I want the image to have, or the title to have this blue color. I can choose one of these global colors. And if I'm not happy with the global colors, I want to make it a darker shade, I can pick one of the global colors as I already demonstrated earlier. Or what you can do is just pick a dark blue color like this, which kind of matches the site. So section background, again, let's say you want to have a section background similar to this color. Now it doesn't look good. Let's switch to this color, which is slightly darker. What we'll do is we'll just change it to slightly bluish shade like this. And now you see a nice little heading or highlight added here, which just adds a complements this thick. Once again, you can change the color of the content, the section title font, post title font, and the meta font and the borders. So technically you have every single thing you can customize. So content is this. This is the section title, and the post title, and then the meta is the meta. And then if you want to add a border, let's say you want to add a border. So I'll just try and pick a border here, dark blue color. Let's try and add a border width of 2. It's a little too thick. Let's add it to 1.5. Yeah. So now I just added a beautiful looking section here, which looks great. And of course, as I said, you can change any color here. So if you want to change the color for literally anything, that's all the settings are available here. And you can also change the paddings and the margins if you want to add more margins on the side or the padding on the side. That's completely up to you. So even in just a simple feature like the related post, not just enabling it, but completely customizing it. And of course, everything that you do here affects the entire site. So one changes that you make here, this will be just your entire website will be set up very, very easily. So we've just finished related post. Let's also go into the comments post or comment section. And the comments have similar areas or similar options in the design areas, because the comments are added by users. So you won't have any options to control the kind of comments that are coming, because a blog post has a comment, then you don't control it, the users do. So we don't have many options to fetch what content will be displayed. Only the cosmetic changes can be made. So first of all, the section placement is default, contained, and separated. So if you click separated, it'll have kind of a separate section on the blog post here. It's separated from the different blog posts, and you can have the full width structure or a narrow structure. So again, you have a few predefined choices you can make for comments on the site. If I stick with the default one, I think that's the best one, and you can also leave the contained one. The form position is above elements or comments or below comments. What does this mean? So when this particular blog post does not have any comments, but if a blog post has comments, where should this form show up for leaving a comment? Below the comments or above the comments? I would say above the comments make more sense. If you have a lot of comments coming in, the first thing users will see is that they can leave a comment too, and then all the different comments will actually show up just below this. So this is completely up to you. Again, I'm just showing you what possibilities exist. Once again, we can go into the design options, and we have the border option. So once again, I'll just go here and I can pick a color. And let's pick this color. Let's see how it looks like as a border. If I add this here, I think 1.5 border width should be fine. And if I can add a little bit of a border radius, let's say 10, I think, yeah, okay, it looks good. Let's do this. And for the padding and margin, I think I'll just keep it at the usual levels. So once again, in a couple of seconds, I was able to not only add this section, completely customize this section, and also just add a little bit of border around to make it a visual hierarchy sort of thing. Just separate the entire thing from the blog area. So this is again completely finished section here on the blog section. So if I remind you, we did two things in the blog. We did the blog archive page and also the single blog post, and every single option that you can use to customize the blog areas has been covered. Going back now, we have the page section. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on the pages section because the options are exactly the same. If you don't know what page and post are, WordPress has two types of post types, I would say, which you can use to add content on the site. If you're adding information, articles, how-tos, customer queries, that's usually qualified as a post, which is like this. This is a post. But if you have, let's say, contact us page, if you have a my address page, testimonials page, terms and conditions page, these are usually pages. So technically you can use or customize pages similar to how we customize posts right now. But if you're not using pages to add content, then this is something that you can quickly brush over. But again, the settings are exactly the same. In the single page option, you can customize all these settings, same settings. Now, just to remind you, there is no page archive page on WordPress. Pages are individual things that just exist on the site. So there's no page archive. So in the post or in the page section, single page section, you have very, very similar options. You can change these areas, you can customize sidebars, you can customize the design options. I have not created any pages on the site, so I don't even have an option to actually make these changes and show this to you how we can change this. So once again, these settings are exactly the same. We also have the option of the search page, where what this happens is if somebody makes a search on your site, so how does the page look like? I haven't created a search option here, but I'll do this later in the video. I'll show, when I show you the header footer builder, how to add a search option to your website. And once again, inside the search page, when you make a search, how does the content look like? The exactly same settings we covered in the blog archive sections and the blog post sections are visible here. Container layout, you have the container style, you have the sidebar layout, and you have the results layout. So how does the result actually look like? You can customize this here, and you can enable the live search option. So while the user is typing, content that is matching the search will actually start showing up. I'll just enable this because I think it adds a good experience to the user. And when I add a search bar or search option to the header, I'll be able to show you live on how this is going to look like. I'm not going to customize any of these sections because I've already covered in in-depth detail on how these affect individual pages. But right now, this section, specific section, the search page, is affecting just the search page that will be created on your site. So going back, we've covered the page option. We have covered everything. Now let's go to the sidebar. This is the last section before we head to the header and footer builder. Now, default layout of the site. This is the default layout of the site. Once again, it might not affect the home page because that's completely customized. So if I enable the sidebar here, you might not see a sidebar. I'm just not sure. Yeah, the sidebar doesn't show up. But if I go to the blog post section or blog archive page, you'll see the sidebar appear here because now we've added the sidebar throughout the website. Once again, you have the option of left and right sidebar or default layout, which is no sidebar. Then you can change the sidebar width. You can have the sidebar box style. You can have a sticky sidebar. All these simple options, you just enable them and just customize them a little bit so that you can have different kind of looks on your site. So we've covered the sidebar as well. So kind of we have covered, or not kind of, we've covered the global options. We covered the breadcrumbs we ignored, blog post, page, sidebar completely. But let's come to the most important, I say one of the very important areas of customizing your website, which is the headers and the footers. Now, this is the header, what you see here, which has the menu, the logo, and other elements that you can add to the page. And you also have the footer. This is the footer. How do you customize this? Because you want this to be visible throughout your site, or at least the header and footer are visible throughout the website. So once you make these changes, again, you will have these options here. And the Astra theme has a great feature inside it called the header footer builder. So this is the header builder. This is the footer builder. Once you go into the header builder, you'll see a new interface pop up on the screen. And this is the header footer builder. Now, what is this? This header footer builder is a visual representation or a drag and drop it approach to building and customizing headers on your site. So you see this option here. This represents your header here. Technically, the header has 3 rows, but the 2 rows are empty, and this is the middle row. And you see the exact same things you see here are the exact same things you see here. So what does this mean? So this is the site logo, which you see here. This is the primary menu, which you see here. You can add elements, remove elements, and reorder elements on the page using the header footer builder. How? Let me demonstrate. You see some websites that have interfaces where the logo is in the middle of the page and then the menu is just below it. You want to see how we can do it? We can just take the site logo, drag it in the middle of the section on the upper row, take the primary menu, drag it just below it in the middle of the section. And now you have a brand new header already done. That's how easy it is. What if you want to have the site logo here, but you want to have the menu on the extreme right hand side of the page? So you just drag and drop it there. Easy. Or you want to have it here, but you want to add a button here where it says hire me. So just click the empty area and click the plus icon and you have options. So if I click the button, now a button will be added here. It says contact now. So if I go to the button option here, now I'll be able to change the text. I'll say hire me for voiceovers. Hire me for voiceover. And don't worry about the button layout. We're going to change the button layout or you can change the design options here. So you can add a link to a specific page if you want to, and you can open in a new tab. If you go to the design options here, this will show up the options we can customize for the button. So once again, you have the similar options which I showed you inside the button. You have the background color. So if I click the regular background color, I can change this to this, and I can change the text color to white. And I can change the border color, or I'll leave the border empty, completely empty, but let's change the hover color to something else. So when I hover over it, I want the text to become darker and I want the background to become white. So now if I go here, you'll see that the button hover effects actually changing place. So I was not able to demonstrate the button elements or the changes that you can make to button elements previously, but now this is how it is. You add a button on the page and you just change the settings, and this is completely, you can customize. And if I want to just make this button slightly larger, I'll click this button and I'll just make sure that this font is, oops, that's just way too big. Let's tone it down to something like, yeah, this looks fine. So now this button is primarily added, and it's you just can't miss it. So instantly I've changed the button, I've created a button, I customized the button, I changed the size of the button, all with the header footer builder. And you can add elements, you can customize elements, as I already mentioned. If you want to change a certain element, all you have to do is click on it. So if I click the primary menu, this brings up the interface for the menu here. You can go into design options and change the menu hover. So if I say underline, now buttons or the menu should be underlined. But yeah, sometimes I guess I said it doesn't work perfectly, but that's completely all right. If I go to the menu options, let me show you how to configure these options. So just for example, most websites have an interface where if you click the home button or the logo of the website, it just takes you to the home page anyways. So this home section here is quite redundant. So we'll click this option here, which will bring us to the menu edition or editing feature inside WordPress. This is very similar to how we saw it on the back end of the website, where we were customizing the menu, where I added this, but this is one more interface where you can change this. Now, this is where you'll see all the areas where your theme can support or add themes. You can see it here. Your theme can display menus in 5 locations. So we have a primary menu, a secondary menu, off canvas menu, logged in menu, and footer menu. Right now, we just have the one menu, which is the header menu. So all the other areas where you see, there are no menus visible, and that's completely fine, right? So we want to customize this menu. So we'll click the edit menu option, and this will bring you the similar interface which we saw in the WordPress backend. So if I want, let's say, delete the home entry here, I'll click this drop down option here or toggle switch and just click remove, and this will be removed from the site. So this is how easy it is. Now, let's say, for example, I want to delete the contact form as well, because now this button will act as a contact form. So once again, I can just click here, I'll remove, and this is also removed. So this is how you customize it. Now, coming to one of the most common things that you want to do on your website, which is customizing your logos. So you can just click on this pencil icon here, which will again bring the header footer builder and have the site title and logo. Now, one important thing to understand and realize is that this site is using a transparent header. You see there's this transparency in the header. So Astra theme provides you an option to have different kind of, I say, logos for transparent header and a normal header. And why is this option useful? Because let's say if you have a transparent header and the background is white, a black logo works well. But let's say on the rest of the website, the header is black, then the black logo won't work. So in that case, you can have separate logos for the transparent header and the regular header. So right now what you can do is just click on this button, change logo, and you will be able to actually upload your logo directly on the site. I don't have a logo for that, so what I'll do is I'll pause the video for a second, I'll download a logo from a free website, and I'll upload the logo right here in front of you, and I'll show you how the logo works. So I've just created a logo. Let me just add this logo right here, drag and drop, and the logo is now present here. Make sure to follow the suggested image dimensions. Right now it's 180 by 60, and here it is 180 by 60. Let's select this. And once you select this, it'll give you the option to crop. Now, since we have the right aspect ratio already, we don't need to crop. So we can skip the cropping process. And now this is a beautiful logo here. Now, this might look like a little wide logo, so you can change the dimensions and make sure that's not too wide, completely up to you. This is just a logo that I found on the internet, which was free to use, and I just added this for a demonstration. You can have your own logo added here, and then you can change the logo width to change this here. You also have some other options here. You can enable the site title to be shown alongside the logo. I don't recommend it. Usually no website should do this. At least modern websites don't do this. Their own logo is in either the title. So if, for example, the previous logo that I had on the website was the name of the person who was the voiceover artist. So you can have that here. And you can also have the logo and site title in single line. If you enable this, then you can add the tagline. You can change the tagline visibility. All this is completely something very obvious that you want to add a logo and you want to add or do all of this. Now, a couple of additional things you should remember is you need to add the site title here or site icon here, which is the favicon. So if I just go here, I click here, this is the option to add the favicon, which is usually a square aspect ratio. Now this might look exactly the same, but the spacing around it is different. Just to example, look at this and look at this. This is quite wide. This is the favicon. It's usually square. I'll click the select button. Again, we'll have the option to skip the cropping process. I'll click skip, and I'll just place the header of the Chrome browser on here, which will instantly show you that the site identity, or I say the favicon just I added here, is instantly showing up on the screen. So this is the favicon. We've changed the logo and the favicon here. Now, just to give you clarity on the transparent header situation, if we go back here, inside the transparent header option, you can go and customize the transparent header. Now, some of the options are enabled on the or visible in the transparent header. So first option is, do you want to enable the transparent header on the complete website? So right now, if I go to the blog section, these sections don't have a transparent header. Right now, see, this header is actually separate. So this option will enable the transparent header throughout the website. Do keep in mind that this will change the entire look of your website. So enable this option after careful consideration. You can also choose a different transparent logo. So this is where it gets interesting. If I do this here, now let's say I want to have this logo as the transparent logo, and for the whole logo for the transparent header, and you can have a different logo for the regular regular header. So in this case, if I go back here to the home page of the site, now you see this logo show up here for just the transparent header because it has a different background. But if you go to any other section, you can have a different logo there as well. So if you have imported any other template apart from what I showed, and you're facing issues with logos not appearing, sometimes you'll have a white logo and then the header is also white. This is where you can change it. Just upload a different header or different logo for different headers, and you won't have this issues. So since my header is completely fine for both, or my logo is fine for both transparent and regular headers, I won't change this. You can also go into the design option here and see some other options. So again, once again, you have the bottom border, so you can customize the borders here. You can have colors and backgrounds. So what color should the menus be in? What color should the sub menu be in? The social icons, if you add it, the search color. So this brings me to a nice place where I can add the search option here. So I'll just go here, click here, and I'll add the search option here. Now you see the search option is added here. So if I go here and I say, hey, for the search icon, I want to have this blue color, then it should reflect in some time. If it doesn't, we'll go back to the search option, click this, and this will allow you to actually customize the search options. So now we have the search width here. We can change the width, the icon size, live search. Let's enable it. And search within, we'll only do posts for now, or not pages. We'll disable the pages. We'll only do posts. And going into the design options, we'll be able to change the color of the logo here. So now you see this is the icon that has changed. So as I said, there's some settings are available in multiple areas. So you can just click around and find out the right place. And you can just add a margin as well. So if I just add a left margin of, let's say, 20 pixels, you can also do 30. So it'll have some separation here. So once again, going back to header builder, search, I think we've customized every single thing. So going back to the home page of the site. Now, we've covered almost essentially everything except for the footer because it has very similar options to the header builder. But now just think about this. Within just an hour or whatever this video has been going on, we were able to build a website. We were able to import a theme. I showed you how to customize the entire website, the look of the website, every single thing in such a short period of time. It's actually amazing, right? So just pat yourself on the back once again if you think you're enjoying yourself and learning something new about WordPress. It's a very, very powerful piece of software. Let's also finish with the footer builder here, and then we'll go back on the admin area, and I'll show you how to customize the actual content, the home page and other areas of your site. And that's also going to be very, very easy. So going to the footer builder here, once again, the footer builder has very similar, I'd say, the layout. You have three areas. You have widgets, HTML, copyright sections already confirmed are connected. So if you want to change anything, once again, you can click on the individual icons and it'll open up the settings for it. So if I click the social icons, you have the social icons that are added. Let's say if you're not present on YouTube, you can just disable that icon. You can add new social media icons here. So let's say I am on GitHub. Let's say, for example, if a voiceover artist was on GitHub, you can just add the social icon and now the GitHub icon will show up here. So this is how you can add this. You can also enable the labels. So you can enable the labels like this. So similar to how I showed you in the header builder, you have just click and change options. So if you want to change this, just click on the find the widget, which is here, or just click the pencil icon and you'll see this widget is responsible for showing this. So now you can change this, add media, let's say you can just add a link here, which can be linked to a contact page. So you can just add contact me page and just add a link here to a contact me page. We'll add this link here. I'm just giving it a random link because we haven't created a contact page yet. So I'll just add google.com just for example, and we can just come back later and change this. So now it links to the contact me page, the HTML page. Now anybody clicks on this, they'll reach the contact page. And of course, we'll need to change this so that the link doesn't blend in the background. As I mentioned, some things need to be customized. Once again, you can change the HTML here, the copyright information here, and you can also change the logo here. Now, this background is black and I don't have a white logo, so I'm not going to change this. But the idea is that in similar fashion, how I was able to show you how to change the logo here, you can actually change logos here as well, right? So once again, we have the footer completed. We have the all the elements on the header and footer builder completely customized. And now you also should have a great idea on how things work inside WordPress. It's actually easy. Making changes site-wide is absolutely not something that is too complex or sounds like repairing an Autobot or a transformer. It's very easy. Just you to understand what things to be changed here. And using or following this tutorial till this point, you must have your website already ready. That's that powerful. So once again, we'll take a small break so that you can just relax, take a deep breath, have a sip of coffee if you want to. We'll go into the back end of the site, and what we'll do is we'll customize this home page and some other pages on the site which are created, and then we'll start with the process. But before that, very, very important. If you've been following along, make sure to hit this button, which is the publish button, because this is where you'll commit all the changes that you made to the site onto the website. So once this is done, you can click back here in the cross icon here, and this will bring you to the actual website. So this is your website. Congratulations, you built this all by yourself. So if I go to any of these pages, you'll see all of these pages are also completely already designed for us, and we can customize any of these pages, right? We can customize any of these pages, and I'm going to show you how to do that and how to even add new pages onto the site and add them to the menu. Technically, I already have shown you some of these things, but let's say, for example, if I go to the blog post here, this is all where the blog posts live. We can go into the services section, which is or the services show up, and you can customize this. And you can also go into the studio option, and then you can customize the studio page as well. So whatever pages you want to customize or even add, all of this is possible right inside WordPress. No external tools required. Whatever we installed is what we'll need to just customize all these things on our website. All right. So this is your beautiful website. Soak it in, just take a look around, have a little fun with it. If you want to check something out, you want to check the search option out, just check how everything works, how it looks, check on it on your mobile phone, just see the mobile preview, do all of that. And once we're back, we're going to customize a couple of pages. I'm going to show you how the block editor inside WordPress works and how you can use it to customize pages on your site. I hope you're having fun till now, because now it's going to get even more exciting. All right, see you after a short break. All right, welcome back to the video, and I hope you've spent some time understanding your website, looking at your website. Look at this beautiful website we created in just less than an hour of time, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And we covered everything about how to build a website, how to customize it. The only thing remaining is now how to customize the individual pages on the site. So this is the home page that we created. We also have the about page automatically built. We can create new pages as well. So this is the about page you can see here. Beautiful. Then you have the blog page, which we created. I already showed you how to customize this. We also have the services page. So inside the services page, this is automatically pre-built from the website itself. And then you also have the studio page, which is built here. Now you can customize these pages. You can create new pages and use the same principles we're going to cover to just do the same thing. Now, if you go back to the admin area, and if you go to the pages section and we click all pages, this is where you'll see all the pages on the site. So the about page, the blog page, the contact page. Contact page we haven't added to menu. Technically, we will add this here. And then we have the home page, the privacy page, which is not added here, and the sample page created, and services, and the studio page. Now, you can actually just go and start editing any of these pages. But if you mess up, then you won't have an option to go back, and you'll have to re-import the entire template, which is fine. But if you have made significant changes using the customizer here, then you'll lose all those changes and you'll have to kind of make those changes again. So I just suggest that whatever workflow I'm going to show you, you should do this, because if you're new to WordPress, this will just save you a little bit of time. So we're going to install a plugin which allows us to duplicate pages inside WordPress. Sadly, that's not a native functionality, so we'll have to install a plugin for that. So I'll go to the plugin section. I'll go to add a new plugin. And inside this add new plugin, I'll just search for duplicate post, and this will bring the plugins options. And this plugin, I've tested it out. It's a pretty decent plugin. We'll install this plugin, and once it's installed, I'll also activate the plugin, and then we'll use this plugin to duplicate some of the pages on the site and then edit those pages. I'll click activate. Now the plugin also offers some security checkup. I would suggest that you skip this. We don't need it. Now the default settings are completely fine. We don't need to mess with this, and this menu entry you can completely ignore and just directly head to the pages sections. And inside the pages section, now you'll see a new copy option alongside all the options here. So the home page, let's say we want to edit the home page first. If you hover on the copy button, you'll see the copy option appear here, and you can have one time. So click the copy button, and this will create a copy of the home page. Now the benefit of this process is now you can edit this, and you don't like something, you break something, that's fine. Your home page is not being messed. And you can do the same process on a live website as well. So customers are coming in, you're not messing with the actual home page. You can try and change things here, and if you like it, you can just change the homepage to the second version and by just going into the settings. So this is a great workflow to save time and also have flexibility in your workflow. Coming to home page 2, we'll just edit this page here by clicking this button, and this will open up the block editor inside WordPress. Now when the block editor first starts, there's a lot to take in, so I would just recommend that you listen to me for a few minutes. I'll explain everything that is about the block editor. Now whatever you see in the middle of the page, this is the content area, and this is where all the blocks go using which you can create your page. Now think of the blocks as Lego pieces you can arrange together, and since similarly to how you have different kind of Lego blocks, each does or solves a different purpose, you have different kinds of blocks inside WordPress which you can add and use, which solve a different purpose. Just by looking at the page, you can understand that everything, if you hover, you'll see different sections are being highlighted, and each of these sections are different blocks. So you have blocks for text, you have blocks for images, you have blocks for other areas and other kinds of blocks. What kind of blocks are there? Before that, I want to just highlight this section right here. This is the settings area, and the settings area, you see this settings which is currently highlighted is the WordPress settings, which is present by default even if you have installed nothing on the site. But these, what you see here, these are added by starter templates and Astra, and these buttons are also added by starter templates and the Astra theme, so they're not part of the default WordPress setup. So if you want to enable or disable the settings or just the appearance of the settings on the page, you can just click this, and this will just give you a full page preview of how the page actually looks like. So you can click here, bring back the settings, it goes back. You can click this settings and the theme settings come back. You can do this and you can do this, and the Spectra page, other settings also come back. So this is how you bring the settings first. And this is where you also see the blocks. This is where the settings are, but what kind of blocks are supported? You have tons of blocks. Now I'll click this and you'll see some variety of blocks here, Wonder blocks and Spectra and text and other things. Why are there so many blocks? So the beauty of WordPress is that not only does it include plenty of blocks here, so you see these blocks, the paragraph block, the heading block, the list block. You can see on the preview on the right hand side as well on how it looks like. You have the code block, the details block, all these blocks. These are default blocks inside WordPress which are just provided to you. You can use them, add it to the page, drag and drop it and customize them. Also have the media blocks, design based blocks, a lot of different options. But WordPress also allows third-party developers to add their own set of blocks. Now the benefit of those blocks is most of the time they will have some unique set of settings or different settings or more settings you can customize, so you'll have more control over the layout of your website. So just for example, if you scroll up, all these blocks you see are added by the Spectra block. So similar to how you saw the heading block below, you also have the heading block here. You also have an image block here. You have the buttons block here. You have the info box, call to actions. So all these blocks are very similar to some of the other blocks inside WordPress, but these blocks will have more, I say, unique options or additional options which you can use to customize. And then you also have the third set of blocks, the Wonder blocks, which are added by, again, Spectra and other add-ons. So whatever these blocks you want to use, that's completely up to you. What I'm going to just first do is start to show you the page structure, how it's laid out, how you find elements and change them, and what kind of settings you can expect, and then how you can change them. All right, so if we'll just close this by clicking this cross icon, this will go away. And this page is defined into a few different sections. But how do you see what kind of elements are added and how the page is laid out? Because as a beginner, it might be a little confusing to you to understand how everything is put together. So I would suggest that you use this feature inside WordPress, which is called the document overview. So if you click this button here, this will bring up the overview of the document directly. And you see this document is made with 6 containers, 1 container, 2 container, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is inside each of these containers? You can hover and click on them, and that particular container will be highlighted. So if you see this container is this container which ends here. And then second container is this container. And this is the third container. This is the fourth container, my clients. This is the fifth container for the testimonials. And this is the sixth container for let's get together or let's work together. So this is how the page is actually laid out. But you can also just click at the drop down option here. And you'll see it has another container inside, then it has another container inside, and it has headings, and it has another container which has icon lists, and it also has buttons laid out here as well. So there are many different elements in a single container. And what you can do is you don't always have to use this. The easier way to get around WordPress is just click in elements and then figuring out their properties and settings. So let's start with that first. But before that, I want to show you how you can actually preview this page so that you can actually understand how the preview or live preview looks like. Now, if you have this open or the blocks options open and the settings open, the page is actually compressed quite a lot, right? You can see it's compressed. So it's not a realistic preview of how the page will look like. So I would recommend when you're looking at the page and designing the page, close all of these or just toggle them on and off so you can see a final output of the page. And you can also use this preview option here. If you click this, you'll have the preview in new tab option. And if you click this page, you'll see this page looks significantly different from the actual home page, which is this. This is the home page. Let's go to the home page here. And this is the home page and this is our page. Why does this look so different? Because the home page is using a full width layout. We looked at those settings inside the editor or in the customizer. And since we set the regular container to be normal, not the full width, that's why any default page we duplicated is not using the full width layout. So let's change that. Now, this is again a great feature inside WordPress. You can override settings. So to change this to a full width layout, we'll have to just go into the Astra options here and we'll click this. And you can go to the container layout. This is the container layout. You see, this is the default options. We'll switch to a full width option and you instantly see now it's a full width page. And then the container style will not change. We don't have the sidebar. We will not disable the header, footer or other areas, but we'll go into the advanced settings and we'll enable the transparent header on this page. Now, if you remember from the customizer, we did not enable it site-wide, but since this is a replica of the home page, we want this to be enabled here. All right, so disable primary header, and this is not something we'll do. We'll return to post and we'll also do one more thing, but let me show you the preview first. If I now see the preview of the page, you'll see that it's starting to look like the home page quite a lot. So this is the page here and this is the page here. There's only one difference. This is the title of the blog post or the page which is showing up here. So there's an option to disable that as well. Just click on the title here, and if you delete this section will remain empty and it'll cause an unnecessary space here. So what you can do is just click on this and there's an eye icon just here. Just click on the eye icon. This will just hide this from the page. Once again, if you go and click the preview option, now you see this looks very much similar to how the home page looks like. This is the page we are designing and this is the home page. There's actually no difference. It's exactly the same. So whenever you are creating new pages, especially home pages and other pages, these are essential settings you will need to figure out anyway, because you need to have the transparent header and you might need to have the full width layout set up. So that's why I thought this is a great opportunity to demonstrate how you do this, because it can be confusing for beginners. Now, since we have set out the layout of the website pretty well, how do we change things? How do we customize things? So let's start with the text options here. Now, the easiest thing to change on WordPress is the text. And as I said, all you have to do is select the element and then look for the appropriate settings in the settings area. So if I click the settings, right now the settings for the page are appearing because I haven't selected any block. If I go to the block, you'll see no block selected. So all I have to do to see the settings of a particular block is to select the block. So I'll just go here And let's say I want to change this headline to, "Hi, I'm Dave, I do voiceovers." I'll click here, and now you see the block settings appear. Now, first, let me show you how to change the text on the page. So I'll just double click this, and let's say your name is not Dave, your client's name is not Dave, it's John. So I'll just do, "Hey, I'm John." And simple, you just drag and click on it and change it how you would do it in any word processor. So it's quite easy. So once you've done this, now let's explore the settings for the block, and there are extensive settings. Now do notice that this is a heading block, but not the regular WordPress heading block. This is coming from Spectra. So if you're using a different template or a different website and it's using the default heading in WordPress, it will have different settings on the page or different settings in the block. But you can also use the Spectra block to have all these settings that I'm going to mention so that you can actually take advantage of them. So inside the general settings, you have the content, subheading, and separator. So inside the content, you have alignment options. So if I do this, the text is center line, right line, left line. And if I want to have this as a heading, then I can enable the heading. And what kind of heading? H1, H2, H3. And this will inherit the settings that we customize from the customizer for typography and size. Then you have subheadings. You can enable and disable it and have a separator between headings or headings and subheadings. Now this is just the content area. Let's go to the style tab, and style tab has heading, link, highlight, background, and spacing. Plenty of options. So inside the heading option, you have the text color option. You can have basic classic color text, or you can have a gradient color as well. Now, some of these settings, you will see that these are being inherited directly from the theme. So that's why you see this is transparent, but this theme has a color. Now, whatever you change here will only affect this particular page on this particular area. Whatever we did from the customizer affects the entire site. So let's say, for example, you had the bright idea to change some of the colors here. So you go here and you click the color option, and you pick this color, this color. Let's pick a different color, this blue color, and you pick this color. So instantly you see that now this color is being applied here on the page. Let's click this once again. Okay. So now we've instantly changed the color of this headline. I can just make it a little darker if I want to. So once again, the color palette we defined in the customizer is showing up here. These are global colors, but you have the option of actually freely picking colors from the color picker as well. So you can just drag and just select a color picker. I think it's a little buggy today for some reason, but you can just drag it around and find the appropriate color that you like. You also can paste the hex code if you want. And what you can also do is change the transparency here. For some reason, it's a little bit laggy on my website today or my page today, but you get the idea. See, this transparency actually was applied. So now this is something you can do. I'll just try and go back to the full width or full transparency, full opaqueness here, but I'll stick with the color that we selected. As I said, it's a little bit laggy for some reason, but let's stick with it. All right. So this part is done. Let me click around somewhere else so that the settings are saved. So once again, going back to the color options, you can actually set this color, which I just did. And you can also set this as a gradient. So it can be a gradient that you like. So again, beautiful looking gradient on the page. And you can change the type of gradient right here as well. You can add new colors, have multicolor gradients, and change the radius or change the type of gradient it is. So you have plenty of options to mess around and have a little fun. Let's stick with the gradient. I think it's suiting the theme of the website. And then once again, apart from the color, we can change the typography here. So this is similar to how we saw in the customizer. But as I said, whatever you change here only will affect this section or this particular piece of text. That is what we are customizing. So if we go to the shadow option, we can add a shadow here as well. So I'm just going to spend a little time here. The reason I'm spending quite a lot of time on all these individual settings is so that you can understand the kind of options that are available in the heading and other blocks. So that when I actually go and change text somewhere else on the page, you won't think about, oh, what other settings are there? So by just covering all these settings here, you'll understand basically every single block that is added to the page, especially a text block, has similar options. All right. So this is the part where we have changed the colors here. You also have linking options. So if you have links on this page or links in this text, you can change the color of that link and also change the color of the hover. So if you hover over something and it has a link, you can change the color. You can also have highlights on the page. Highlights, you can have highlights, and you can also have background. So if you want to add a background to this particular headline, you can just select a color here. Once again, it might mess the page up a little bit. Let me just try and see if it works. So this looks absolutely horrible, but I'm just trying to demonstrate that this is an option that you can utilize. So we change the background. You can also change the spacing. So you can change the padding and margins, make the spacing a little nice. Just to give you an idea, if I go here and add the bottom padding as, let's say, 15 pixels, now you see this padding or this margin has been added. So it gives a little bit of breathing room to the text below it. So these are all the settings in the heading block, and the text blocks are also very similar. So if I click the text here, now you see this is also technically heading block, which just contains all the different kinds of text. So the exact same settings that I mentioned to you are the same settings that are available here as well. And if I want to change this text, I'll just highlight this and I'll just say, hey, a specialized voice over artist that can narrate cartoons, ebooks, audiobooks, anime, children's event promos, and more. So instantly I have changed this text as well. All right, so this text we've customized this text. Let's also look at this text, and this is not a text block, this is a list item block, which kind of represents different lists that you can have. And the special thing about this list item block is that it's coming from Spectra, so it allows you to add specific icons next to it. So you see this icon here, this icon has been added through Spectra or this particular block, and you can add these options are present. So you can have an image as the or an icon as the icon, an image as the icon, and none as the icon. So you can remove the icons as well. You can add links to it. So if you want to link out to a particular page by adding a click here, you can add the link here. And in the image section, or not in the image section, the style options, you have the label colors, so normal and hover colors, and the icon color and the spacing. And in the advanced tab, you have some other options as well. We'll look at some advanced options later once we finish the basics. There's some exciting things here as well. So again, very similar options. You can customize, change the text, and add this here. Now, let's go to the button block and customize the button. Now, why the button first? Because if you remember when we were adding or customizing buttons using the customizer, I did mention that some things on the page are overridden because technically what I meant was that some elements on the page are added by third-party blocks, so it's not, the customizer won't actually affect them. So this is one of the examples of how this button block, if I click on it, you see this is coming from the Spectra plugin once again, and these options are actually set on the page itself. So the button will not inherit the settings unless it is set to inherit the settings, which it is not. So once again, you have the options here for predefined styles. On the content, you can have this content being inherited from the theme. You can add icons, links, and all that good stuff. But if you want to just change the text on the button, I can just do this. I'll say, let's connect. And if I do this, now you can see that it's changed here. Now, in the style tab is where I can change the style of the button, the cosmetics, the colors. So what are the styles? I'll just click this and you'll have all these options here. You have the text, the background, the border, the box shadow, and spacing. Let's look at this so that you can see how we can customize this. So let's say for the first thing, what I want to do is make the button a little bigger by changing and improving the font size. So I'll go to the text options, and in the text you have typography. I'll click the pencil icon and this will open up the typography options, and I'll just move this around to, let's say I'll just do this 20 pixels. And yeah, this looks decent to me. So I'll stick with 20 pixels and click back the pencil icon. And now the button is bigger. Now, if you notice, if I'm hovering over the button, the color of the button and the text are changing. The text remains the same, but the background color changes. What if we want to customize this behavior? We can do that. So in the text area, you have normal color and hover color. And in the background color, you have the normal color and hover color. And technically, you also have transparent and color and gradients as well, but we're going to stick with the basic color, right? So normal color, the black color is fine. The white text is fine. I want to change the hover color to something else. So if I go to hover, it's set to this blue color. What I'm going to do is go here, and hopefully the color doesn't mess up once again. I'm going to just do and pick a dark blue color here. And this dark blue color, and I'm going to add a light blue border to it. and I'll go to the border and let's do solid. And now the border is added as solid, and I'm just going to do on the regular border, I'm just going to make it translucent so it's not visible. So I'll just make it 3 pixels for now. So you can see that the border is there, but it's completely translucent. And on the hover side, I'm going to change the color to this darker blue compared to this light blue. So now I just customize the settings. So let's hover over the button. Now you can see the button color is dark and it has a light blue border. So this is how you can customize the button very easily to any colors you like. It's that easy. And you don't have to actually mess around and change every single button on every single page. What you can do is just copy and paste this around once you have made one button or one change here. Spectre options or the WordPress options gives you this option as well. So once you've done this, you have this option. I'll demonstrate probably this later in the video. Let's say you spent 15 minutes of your time to customize this button beautifully. You want to just copy and paste this and click this, copy this, go to the other page, paste the button there, and have all this settings being applied there as well. So you don't have to mess around changing every single thing every single time if you don't have to. So once again, instantly we've given it a beautiful new look. We have changed the text here. I've shown you how to customize the lists and buttons as well. And this is again a second button. And this button has a transparent outline, but let's change the typography for this to match the button just next to it. So we'll just make the font size the same. And now this actually matches the site. Let's now go back to this here so that we can actually see how it looks like. We'll click here, we'll go to the preview and new tab. And this is the beautiful new homepage that you have just customized with me on this website. Looks great. And this, as a reference, this is something we created or technically customized, and this is the original one. Tell me in the comments, what do you like better, this one or this one, and how easy it is to make these changes on your site, right? It's absolutely easy. Now, one thing we haven't customized is this image. So let's do that next. And with that, you'll technically understand how to customize every single thing. I'll maybe spend a couple of minutes of my time showing you around how to change these things, how to do the same thing for other elements on the page. But essentially, that is how you do it, right? You just mess things, you click things, you find the relevant settings, and you change things around. So once again, going back here, we have this image here. Now, one thing that might be challenging is to figure out which block does have the image actually, because you can click around, but you'll keep selecting different blocks. That's why the document overview is very useful. If I click here and I open the settings as well, I'll just open the style tabs first, and instantly by just default, I was able to select the appropriate container which has this image. Now, if I just give you an example, the top container has this beautiful basic gradient added as the background, which you see the blue outline here. So the outermost container has that as the background, and the container just inside it has this image as set as the background, and then the next containers inside it has other things customized. So that's why you have multiple containers, because you can't set multiple images inside a single container. So that's why you might be wondering, why does a container have a container and then another container have another container? This is a reason. So let's select the appropriate container with the image. Let's try change this image to something else. I have experimented with a couple of images here. I'll just demonstrate that to you, and I'll also show you how to do one from scratch. All right, so I'll click change image, and I just added this image here first, but this is not a high resolution image. I downloaded it from unsplash.com. I'm going to demonstrate that. I removed its background, but it's not a great resolution. So you might think that this is not looking great, but I'll change that. So once I added this image, now since this is a small image, it technically kind of disappeared, right? You can't see it. So what you do is, again, you go into the container and you figure out the general settings, the style, and then you have the position. So if you find the image, you find the position. Now you can mess around and find the image, or you can just click reset, and now you can see the image. So with this simple, I say block options, you can just drag this around and place it in the appropriate area. And once again, I would recommend you close this so that you see the realistic idea of how the page will look like. So this is how it's going to look like. Not great once again. So I'm going to open the settings once again. I'm going to drag the image around just a little bit more. Close this. And still it's nice, but I want to just have it more to the side so that it's not overlapping the text. So I'll just do this once again. I'll do this and let's try it. Now it looks fine. I think the image is, again, as I said, the image is not great. The background removal is not great. It doesn't have great resolution, but I'm just giving you an idea of what can be done. And I'm going to demonstrate how to do this as well. So once again, we'll click this, we'll preview in new tab, and this will open up our new image or new, I say, homepage design with a new layout here. So kind of works, but the image isn't great. Let's change this image to something else. Once again, we'll go here, open the settings up, we'll click change image. And I have this another image added here on the page. Let's use this and let's see how it looks like. So now this image this is a much higher resolution, I think more clear, and it also has the brightness is matching the brightness of the page. So I'll reset this first. And once again, we'll just do a push to the side, push to the side, push to the side. And we'll just close this to see how it looks like. And this looks much better in my opinion. So let's try this out. Let's click preview. And this will open up once again the live preview of the page. And let's see how it looks like. And the new home page looks beautiful. So this is how you customize things on the website. All right. So what I'm going to do is now demonstrate the process of how I actually did this and how I found the images, so that if you maybe struggle with that, you will have an actual answer of how I did this. So you can go to any stock image website where you can find the appropriate images. My personal website or favorite website is unsplash.com. This is the website I use. The best part about this is there's some websites or some, I say, images that are premium, but most images are free to use and you don't have any licensing, no complicated, I say, terms and conditions. You can use those images freely. So the license part is which makes it very, very simple. So I'm going to find an image called singing. Now, technically, I already have an image downloaded on my computer just to demonstrate this to save it time, but I'm going to just demonstrate the process anyway. All right. So I'll just go here and I'll find an appropriate image which is available to use. Now, if you see this icon here and you see a watermark on the image as well, then that image will not be available to download unless you have the premium version or something like that. But most images without this are free to use. So I'm trying to find an image which has good contrast. And this is the image again, as I saw, this has good contrast. So I selected this image as an example, but let's find another image which we can use, which has a decent, I say, look to it, that we can remove the background. So let's find this. This can work, but it's black and white. I'm not sure if the background removal process will be efficient, but we'll try it anyway. So, all right, let's try this image. By the way, I'll just show you the image I actually downloaded for this. So I actually tried out this image. I have downloaded this image. Oops, sorry. Let me just resize this. So I have downloaded this image already from unsplash.com. And if I show you how the image looks like after I removed the background, this is how it's looked like. So this is, again, this is something I've already done. So this is something I'll use, but I'm just demonstrating the process and in real time so that you can understand how the actual process look like. So I'll download this once again, and this is now download to my computer. All right, so I'll go to Adobe Express background remover. Why Adobe Express? Well, there are a million ways to actually remove backgrounds. You can do it in your phone as well. We've done a video about it. First it was just iPhones, but now modern Samsung phones can also remove backgrounds from images. You have iPads, you can do it on a computer. This is the only service that I found which can remove backgrounds from images and also allows you to download them in the full resolution for free. So that's why it's a recommended service. I'll take the image here and I'll just drag and drop it here. Now, do keep in mind that to download the image, you'll need to sign into your Adobe account. I'm not signed in, but as you see, it kind of does the job. It's okay, but it's not great, right? So we'll just go back and find another image, and let's see if we can find a good looking image we can utilize to actually remove the background. Now, this is hard work. I don't know where I found the first image that I used. So let's take some time. All right, this looks good. So I'll just download this one. We might have to flip this around, but that's easy to do. So once again, upload your photo. Let's download and activate this one, upload it. Oops, maybe the image is too big. Oops, okay. I might need to resize this. So I'll just select another image. I think the image is too big for the service to actually take out the background. So let's find some other images once again. This looks fine. Maybe we can use this one or maybe this one. Let's try this one first. We'll download this and we'll also use this. Let's see if it works. All right, this is a reasonable, job done. What you can do is download this or use this image. This is the process that I'm describing. But as I said, I've already done this process, not with this image, but this image which I have removed the background from. So again, the process is something I've highlighted: how to find images, how to remove the background. So it's completely free. All you have to do is sign into your Adobe account and you'll be able to download this image. So going back to the site here, this is the page we're working with. This is the page, the editor. Let's find this block here for the images. Let's container, click here, click image, change image. I'm going to drag and drop the image that I just downloaded here. Let's drag and drop it here. And this is now added to the page. Let's also add this here and we'll see how it looks like. We'll reset the position and it sticks on the page. We'll close this and we'll change the position. And as you saw, we have to make it a little to the right so that once you close this, it actually connects here. So this kind of works, right? So let's try and preview this. And I think it'll look good. Again, not the best image in the world, but you get the idea of how to actually do this process yourself. All right. So technically, I've shown you every single thing on how to actually make changes to your website. Now, if you go down here, you'll find the same options. So once again, if I click this section, and if I click the options here, this section has this as just the background image added, and it has the text here, and it has the text here, it has the text here, and it has a button which has some custom settings done. So everything that I showed already can be applied to this section and then be just added here as well. And why is this list block here? This is for the social media icons. That's the only difference. Otherwise, everything is the same. Once again, if I select this section, you'll see that this section has this image as the background. And if I open up the container here, let's open the container. If we open the uppermost container here, you'll see once again, as I demonstrated in the first container, you have the primary container having the image background here. So if I close, or I can't close this, I'll have to show it to you like this. This beautiful gradient, or I say shape background that you see is added to the topmost container, which you can see here, right here. And then the container just inside it has this headphone image as the background. So once again, the same principles apply here. You can go and change the background image if you like, and change the background colors if you like, if you need to customize the section. Otherwise, what you can do is click on this section, change the text, click on the button, change the button, make the button the size of the button, or change anything else. And if I click around, you'll see different kinds of blocks used to create the rest of the website. So if I click this block here, you'll see this is just an image block, and this below it is just a container block. Again, this is the easiest way to actually go around is find out the page structure here. So we click the topmost container. It has a container which has another container, and this is technically an info box, right? So this is an info box that added, and then in another container you have the button block here, which is being added. So this is how you can find out how the page is actually laid out. So right now we saw this. So let's close this container. Let's click the second container. And now this container has 4 of these containers inside, and each of these elements that you see are contained in individual containers. So if I click this, you have an image, then you have the commercials, which is the heading, and then you have the button here. So this is how it is actually structured. You can copy and paste this as well. So if you want to copy this, just click and you can copy this, select parent block or container, copy, duplicate it, take it to another page and just paste it there. If you want to change the images here, just click on the image and you can go and change the image. It's just an image block. You can change the image and add your own image, and all the settings on the image, the rounded corners, will automatically apply. Once again, this is just a list item on an icon set. So if I click this, this is a container which has a background like this, and everything is just basically the same. And if you go here to this testimonials block, let's go to this section, this container, I'll just collapse everything else. This container has 2 containers. So this is the first container on the left and the image is on the right. So if I go to image here, hopefully we'll find the background here. Yeah, the container inside it has a background image, and how the effect for this cutout or extending to the previous section is done, because the image is of that size. It's not something magical, just the image is a little larger, so it's extending to the side. And you can add some paddings and some other layouts, or change a little bit of margins and paddings to make this happen as well. So if you go here in the, I believe it was in the style tab, you see the margin is actually set to -64. So if I make this 0, you'll see that the image will actually fit inside the content. So again, neat little trick for you to actually add a little bit of interesting look to your website. So all you have to do is just make it -65 or 64 it was. Let's do it 65. So okay, I'll have to either do this manually. So okay, so let's do 65. Oops, I don't think I can type it in. Let's try once again. Okay, I can type it in. So -65 is what you can do. So this is how the effect of the extension of the image in the previous section is achieved. And once again, you can do this with any single image. You can just change the image. And if I go and show it to you here, let me just actually demonstrate this to you. We can go here inside the image block. And where is the image? Let me find the image options. All right, go to general, change image. And if I want to change the image to this image, which we used previously as an example, we can do that as well. And the appearance of the image will be the same. So let's select this image here. And now we can do the same thing on the style tabs. We'll go to the margin and we'll set it to minus, let's say 90, because this is a bigger image. I'll just change this to the hyphen. And once again, you have the similar look created with a different image. So that's how easy it is to change things around. All right. So technically, I've shown you every single thing. Let's also publish this page for now so that all the changes we've done to the page are actually committed to the page. And I'll show you how to add links to buttons and also show you how to change the homepage of your website on the fly. Right. So we have this now, a beautiful new homepage with a new image, new kind of text here, and new things. Couple things we changed already, and I also changed this image here, which is now appearing on the page. All right. So if you want to change this, first of all, we haven't added the link to the contact button here. So let's first fix that. So what I'm going to do is go back to this section. Now, since this page is already done, we can click to the top left corner and go to the pages section where all the pages are. What I'm going to do is find the contact page here. I'm going to just click the view page and open this page in a new tab, and I'll copy the link here. I'll just copy the link and close this page because I don't need this page to actually work like this. So once I've copied the link, I'll just click the customize button, which will open up the customizer. And what I want to do is just go to this button here, which is present in the header, and just add the link to the contact page here. So just demonstrating how this is possible, going to click the button here. And once the settings for the button open, we'll just go to the link and click link and open in a new tab and publish. And that's it. Now we have added the link here. We can go back and I'll just demonstrate how this works. So if we go back to the home page here, and if I click the button here, this will open up the contact page in a new tab. And now you can see that this link works perfectly. Now you see a lot of elements here on the page, and I'll take a moment to discuss how you can customize these pages. But first, I want to talk about how you can change your home page on the fly. So if example, you see this is the home page, but we also created an alternate home page. Let me go back to the admin area and I'll talk about how to actually change those settings. So I'll go back here, and if you're in the dashboard of your website inside the admin area, all you have to do is go to the settings and go to the reading settings. And inside the reading settings, this setting which we configured in the beginning of the video, where I changed the post page to post. Now you will remember that we created a home page, or the post that we created, the second option as the home page. I named it home 2. So right now the home page is set to home, which is this page. But if you go here, you can actually change it to home 2. So once you save these changes, now your home page is actually changed and it will have a completely new design. So this is the default home page. I haven't refreshed the page. If I refresh the page, you'll see the new home page now loading. Now, this is how you actually make multiple variations of your home page and configure them and change them on the fly. So you can have a short time promotion. You can have, say, you want to promote some special offer, then you can create a new home page and just change them between the fly. And I told you how to create a home page from scratch, or just duplicate your existing home page and customize that for ease and comfort. Now, let's talk about some other pages on the site, what kind of elements there are, because there are some unique things on those pages which you might be thinking, how do we do? Now, in the studio page, we have nothing special. In other pages, I think nothing special. We've kind of covered every single thing here. But only the contact page has unique elements which you might be wondering how to add. So let me give you a brief overview, and then we'll have detailed tutorials. I'll show you or share with you detailed tutorials on how you can implement them on your site. So let's go back to the admin area, and I'll go to the pages section once again. And the pages section is where the contact page is. So I'll quickly edit this page, and you can duplicate this page and mess around with it as we did with the home page, but I'm just going to show it to you right now how this works. Now, once again, as I said in the beginning of the video or many times, that if you're confused about how a page is structured, just go here and check out the container view, or I said document overview. I'll give you a quick idea on what kind of elements you have on the page. Now, if you open this container up, it has containers and containers, and this container should contain the help me or send me a message and a form block from Spectra. And if you see the map plugin or the map location here, once again, if you open this up, then you'll see an info box here, which is this. And if you see this container here, then you have the studio location, which is a heading, and then you have the Google Maps the block here. And the Google Maps blocks or the Google Maps block uses Spectra's own Google Maps API key, because that technically you need that to embed maps on your site. So they use their own API key, so you don't have to work, you just have to add your address here, and this is working. Now, these might be limited options, but they still work. But if you want more control over how the map is displayed, other additional options, then you should be using different plugins, or I'd say different dedicated plugins or blocks, which allow you to customize this. For example, this form plugin is very basic, but it gets the job done. But if you want to have more control over what kind of fields you want to add, you want to customize the look and feel of it, and get post, submit actions, and collect emails, or collect all the entries in a list, and have payment buttons and all that good stuff, then we have dedicated videos on our channel discussing all those features by using dedicated plugins that are designed to do this job. Now, Spectra will get its job done. This is great, but as your website grows, you'll have specialized needs that you'll need to fulfill to complete all those tasks. So in that case, what I would recommend is watch the videos I'll link on the screen once the video ends in just a minute. And by the way, this is the completion or the end of the tutorial. We've covered everything about building websites. We looked at the home page, we created new home pages, I told you how to install WordPress, and every single thing that you need to have or learn in order to build websites was covered. If you still have questions, then the comment box is open, or just appreciation about this great tutorial would also be great. And if you want to continue your WordPress education, I'd highly recommend you subscribe to WP Beginner, and also like, share, subscribe, share this video, all spread the good karma out there. Once again, you're watching Yuvraj from WP Beginner, and I'll recommend these two videos that you can watch after this to learn how to even enhance or add more things to your website, so that you have no confusions about how to build a fully functional website. Once again, if you have questions, the comment box is open. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.